Hey guys, how's it going? It was considerably sunnier when I started filming this, but apparently the clouds have decided to roll in and I can't be bothered to move, so we're just going to roll with it. Recently, a company called Snapshot sent me their version or rival to the Campsnap camera for me to have a play around with, so thank you very much for that, Snapshot. I wasn't paid for this though. It's completely no money exchange hands. I just wanted to give it a go. And so all the thoughts that I have are coming from me. They haven't even had a chance to see the video before I put it out. But yeah, I went out with it yesterday and walked around a nearby National Trust, just trying it out in different lighting. And I also took the Campsnap with me as well so that I could compare the two. You'll see in the footage that like design-wise, they're pretty similar, but it'd be interesting to see if the images come out any different. So let's find out. Also, you may see throughout the video that I'm like using this extra case on the camera. A friend of mine who's just started his own channel, and I'll put the details in the description, 3D printed it for me for the Campsnap, and because they are effectively the exact same dimensions on the outside, it obviously fits perfectly on the Snapshot. So it just gives me a bit more grip and purchase, because as I said in the Campsnap video, it's really easy to put your knuckle in the frame otherwise, and with this it kind of gets rid of that issue. Next, let's test out and see what the 3 different filters are like on this camera. While I think the Snapshot does okay here, it handles the highlights pretty well, that Campsnap shot is definitely my favourite of the ones taken just there. So I'm just taking a quick break. And well, the Campsnap is off now. If I turn it on, you'll see it says I've taken 17 photos. So 17, yeah, 17. And well, I haven't. I've taken like 6, but you can't turn this off. And in fact, when I got here today, it said I'd taken 84 photos, and 83 of them were just inside this sling bag. So that's one of the things I do love about the Snapshot, is that there is a dedicated on and off power button. That's going to mess with the screen, but yeah, as soon as I hold that, it says goodbye and it's gone. So one major point to this is you don't end up having to sort through lots of photos that, well, you didn't take. One thing this next photo does showcase though is just how badly it handles too much light and shadow contrast, and how easily it will blow out those highlights. I don't know how easy this is going to be to show you, but this is the viewfinder through the Campsnap. And then This is the viewfinder through the Snapshot, and you can't really see it clearly on this video, but the Campsnap definitely has like a slightly clearer viewfinder. I just don't know if it's like a less cheap plastic, but it's not a lot, but it's like a little bit. I don't think you'd notice if you didn't have both on you, but I've definitely noticed today. So before I dive a little bit more into what I thought about the camera, it's probably a good idea that I show you what comes in the box. So obviously we have the camera, which you would have seen throughout that video. It comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable, which is perfect for getting the images off the camera. It also comes with a bunch of stickers, which always makes me happy when things come with stickers. I never know where to stick them, but I'm never going to be mad about getting them. And it comes with a manual. There is one thing that I'll tell you about in a minute that isn't on the manual that you should know about, but otherwise it's a pretty good manual. And it comes with this little wrist strap, which is really nice. I didn't get one of those with my Campsnap, I'll tell you that. So the camera itself, let's go through a little bit of the design and which buttons are on there and how you work it. On the top here, we have two different buttons. This is your shutter button, and this is the on and off button, which is, as I said earlier on, a really nice feature for one of these to have, and something that is definitely missing on the Campsnap. On the front, we have our flash selection switch. So there's on, auto, and off. And on the back, you have a button for the filters. So straight off the bat, that is one of the things that makes me much happier with this camera than the Campsnap, is that you can choose which filter you want to use. They're not customizable, I don't think, like there is on the Campsnap, but also Campsnap is on their like third or fourth iteration, whereas this is their first version over at Snapshot. So, I mean, that's probably in the pipeline. But being able to swap between the classic, like a whiter, bluer tone, the mono and the retro, which definitely has more of like everything feels a bit more like darker yellow, orangey tint. Being able to swap between the three of them based on the lighting and the mood of the photo you want to get, all just by literally clicking a button at the back, is ideal. And as I said earlier, the manual doesn't include one of the features. And that filter button, if you hold it down, will also mute the camera. You'll have noticed that at no point in that video did you hear this camera make any noises. That's because it makes a really annoying fake camera sound, just like the Campsnap does. On the Campsnap, you can turn it down. I've got that on its lowest volume so that I can still hear when I've taken a photo, but it isn't annoying. There isn't a volume option on this. Again, it's only their first ever version. But that would be nice to have, I guess, because you take the photo and then you just have to hold still for a few seconds before you check to make sure that the number has gone up on the back. One of the other things that I mentioned in the Campsnap review is that the viewfinder is not over where the sensor is. That would be fine, I guess, if the viewfinder had any form of markings to help you frame up your photo. Neither do, but this one is actually slightly further out from the Campsnap. So it is a little bit annoying. You do get used to it. You kind of get used to knowing that you need to slightly adjust the shot you're taking, but there's definitely a few photos that I took on this little walk that I think would have been okay, or as good as they can be for kind of this style of camera, if I'd been able to frame it the way that I had seen it in my mind. Okay, so if I was to buy the Campsnap or the Snapshot, which one am I buying? It's close. They both have some pros. The image quality is actually pretty similar. I guess they're probably using identical sensors, but for me, I think the Snapshot just pips the Campsnap for only two reasons. the on-off power button so that I don't put the camera in my pocket and then find that I've taken a bunch of photos that I then have to clear out. And 2, the ability to change filters on the go. I'd love to see that pushed on a little further, where you could choose which filters you had and rename them, and then that come up on the LCD screen so you could choose what you wanted to shoot with. But even just the ability to go between those 3 for now is great. It's something that I said in the Campsnap review, and I felt while using the Campsnap since. I just wish I could change. I know technically I can plug the camera into my phone, put the new file on there, it'll update, but there's that, or there's just pressing a button that's on the camera, and I know which one I would rather do. So hopefully this video has been any form of helpful for you. If you're thinking about buying the Campsnap and you want to know more about that, then there is the Campsnap review. As I said, I'll put a link in the description to that video. But maybe you've watched this and thought, maybe the Campsnap's not for me. Maybe it's the Snapshot. I think it'd be really telling and really interesting to watch what happens with the next versions of this camera. They've clearly listened to the things that people have said were missing from the Campsnap and tried to add them to their own. It's not perfect, but again, it's the first iteration, so I never expected it to be. But it's a great little camera. So thank you so much for watching, guys. As I say, I hope the video has been any form of helpful. It was a fun little camera, and it has a future on this channel, one that I'm not going to tell you about right now, but I will start working on pretty much the moment I finish editing this video. So like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you're not, and as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.